Hey class, I hope you're doing well. I'm recording this. It's about 1:45 on Sunday, January 21st. The playoff game between who is it, Detroit and Tampa Bay? Is it Tampa Bay? Anyway, it's going to start in about 20 minutes. But this is the intro podcast for week two, and I want to talk to you about how it's going to work. So this is the first part of the podcast that you'll hear. It's providing an overview for week two. Uh, I have to admit, the other part of this podcast lecture I recorded last fall, The Rise of Hitler. I thought it worked pretty well, so I didn't really see the need to redo it. The one thing I have added, though, which I think is really useful, is an outline. I will post an outline to my podcast, so you can get a sense of what I'm talking about, the names, the dates, that kind of a thing. So I think that's a positive addition to this semester. So you'll see the podcast. You'll be quizzed on this material on Thursday, and Thursday is January 25th. So this is a material that you'll be quizzed on January 25th. And I'll send out an announcement of specifically what I'm looking for in the quiz. I have a very clear idea of what I want you to learn in this course. You can't really learn everything about World War II in Europe, but there are items that I want you to know, especially big picture items. But you'll have a clear idea of what those are before you enter class on Thursday, the 25th. It'll help you guide your study and your review. I just think that's basic, decent teaching practice. The other thing you'll see in the module, I posted this yesterday, but it's the how you can access the really wonderful documentary. It's weird to say wonderful in the context of World War II, but the superb documentary, Hitler versus Stalin, their machinations. Uh, it really lays out, I think, beautifully about the chess moves that Hitler and Stalin made. And so watch that documentary. Uh, I also posted an animation of Hitler's expansion in Europe. It covers all of World War II, and what you might want to watch is the first 90 seconds of it. So you can just get a visual sense of how Hitler expanded in Europe. Honestly, I'm not going to test you on this, but I guess in a sense I am because I'll be asking you this. I just think this 90 seconds is really well worth your while, especially if you're not that familiar with the dates and if you're not that familiar with the geography of Europe. Uh, a lot of the things you'll hear in this week or read this week is they're intersecting or it's reinforcing each other, information that reinforces each other. That's okay. I think that's actually a good thing. As I say, there's some aspects of this week and every week that we meet where they're just ideas, concepts, facts and figures that I want you to take with you. I try not to drown you in the facts and figures. I try to make it really clear what it is I think is important, but there is information that I want you to take with you from every week in the class, just so you have a more sophisticated understanding of, in this case, the origins of World War II, the rise of Hitler, the rise of Stalin, the rivalry between them. So it's the Reese reading, and remember, I posted um, uh, what would you call it? I posted on Saturday what it is I'm looking for the Reese reading. So again, you can have a sense of what you'll be quizzed on. One of the things, and I talked about this, I think, in when I posted it. One of the things that I'm not going to really quiz you on is the war between Finland and Russia, 1939, 1940. It's not that it's not important. A student, very bright student, brought it up last week, but it's just a little bit too much in the weeds for this course. And the tricky thing about being a history teacher, maybe a teacher of any field, is how much detail to give students and what to leave out. And in terms of quizzing or being quizzed, you're not going to be quizzed on that war. You'll have to know that it was a disaster for Stalin, although he ultimately won. He'd really done something stupid. And another student pointed this out that Stalin could be stupid. I was saying that Stalin was pretty smart in class, but someone checked me, and appropriately so. Here's how I would put it. I would say before late 1941, Stalin made a bunch of mistakes. He was really, really dumb. I would say beginning in 1942, he got his act together. And he became, I think, a very effective war leader for the Soviet Union. I'm not a Stalin fan. He's a monster. He's almost up there with Hitler, and he's just terrible, horrible, unthinkably monstrous person. So yeah, I'm not on Team Stalin, but I think in we have to recognize that as a war leader for the Soviet Union, beginning in 42 anyway, he was effective. Before 42 though, as the student pointed out, he did a lot of dumb things. He killed all his generals. The invasion of Finland was a disaster. He ignored the warnings about that he got that he was about to be invaded. The Soviet Union was about to be invaded by Germany. So he did a lot of dumb things before 42, and then he kind of got his act together. Let's see. I'll post also the first thing you'll see on the module is your assignments for this week, and that's material you'll be tested on February 1st, just so it's in one place. And a student asked me to do this last semester, and they just found it easier to know what they're responsible for in upcoming weeks. So first thing you'll see the assignments, then the second thing you'll see the podcast, then the instructions on how to access Hitler versus Stalin documentary, and then that brief animation of Hitler's expansion that I suggest that you watch. The other aspects of this week, Thursday, the Reese reading, the introduction, in chapters 1 through 3. Um, uh, and I posted a study guide, I guess you would call it, for that. I'm also posting an outline for the podcast as well, just to give you I'm trying to be as clear as possible about what it is I'm talking about, who the figures are, what the important dates are, so that just to make your life easier. And I think one of the things that helps in this course is that there's a lot of interest in this topic. And it's always easier to learn when there's the interest in a topic. And maybe some of you have picked up along the way some information about World War II. Some of you picked up quite a bit of information along the way. But I'm trying to make it so everybody in the class has a clear understanding of what it is I'm looking for and what it is you're going to be tested on.